teachers need to be educated on how to handle travelling children. I think that's a really important thing because they have a culture. They've got to keep that culture alive.
You don't get to know about your own culture, and that's why I left school, to learn about my own culture as well.
Now, when this picture was taken 44 years
We've got things within our culture that we can actually teach the wider community, and we need the schools to be more aware of our culture.
We were never meant to drop out. We just don't like it because there's a lot of racism going on in school. There's a lot of bullying. There's a lot of things going on in school that we don't like.
The only way to combat racism is through education and through making it a duty on schools to promote equality, to promote respect amongst groups.
A number of projects are being developed across the UK, encouraging schools to be more inclusive environments for traveller children.
On a more national scale with regard to travellers, I think DFES has certainly had some particular focus in the last few years because they recognise that ethnically travellers are much abused, much ignored and actually not adequately educated.
There is a growing need for resources that can be used in school to raise awareness of traveller culture. The Open Roads, Open Minds project in Leeds have developed a DVD learning resource trying to find a place for traveller culture in the national curriculum. And in Cambridgeshire, the Speak Out project have developed an audio CD highlighting the effects of bullying and racial prejudice. At the Cathedral Centre in Ely, Cambridgeshire, a number of contributors from schools and travelling communities are gathering for the launch of the Speak Out project audio CD.
Right, good morning everyone. Today is a kind of celebration to mark the end of our Speak Out project. It's a year-long project. It's been looking at racism and racist bullying. We decided that a really big issue for young people, schools and families was the racism that's experienced by so many young travellers, and we decided that we'd like to bid for funding for this project to make a CD dealing with the racism and bullying that young travellers often have to face.
They're dirty pikeys really, aren't they? I want to really just steal and take money and do what they want.
Sometimes the racist bullying of young gypsies and travellers can be dealt with properly. This is Becky's story.
Yeah, well, the CD project, which is a project that we set out to do, Act Poggering Mandy, which means in Didicoi actually means stop bullying me. It's really a CD that's produced through and by the students of this school, Witcham Village College, and also our partner school, Friday Bridge.
As I go to school, I can see the difficulties was in schools, and like sometimes where you get racism comments like said to you.
And the story it tells from beginning to end really is about the difficulty that traveller children with no voice and traveller people with no or little voice in the community, the difficulties they have, and what can be done to include them and bring them through into a place where they can be heard and their issues can be met. And it's essential work.
And we've interviewed our range of people, including Richard Gibbons, John Shield, Jane Williams, Roseanne Edges, Gordon Boswell and Becky Stevens.
Like the CD stops a lot of bullying and racism between like travellers and gorges, like people who ain't travellers. I hope it like balances up so there ain't so much racism and bullying going on, because it ain't a nice thing, not really, to be bullied and have racism said to you, and that it ain't nice, it hurts inside.
Well, the most significant thing that travellers have suffered in schools, in education over the years, is a lack of voice. They are not heard. They are bullied, they have been ignored, teachers don't know quite how to respond to them. And so why a CD rather than a DVD? Because it's about voice.
Particular aim for us to be getting community involvement, a high level of community involvement in general, and producing something that might help traveller families feel somewhat reassured that a lot of people in schools do take their concerns very seriously,
and on the other hand, making a resource that would help teachers to really understand what so many children have to face. And I think a lot of people find it really hard to understand that racism does apply to gypsies and travellers as it does apply to other groups.
Information about gypsy and traveller history and culture needs to be mainstreamed within the school curriculum. People should not learn just about Diwali and Ramadan. They should be learning about horse fairs. They should be learning about the Romani people. We are Europe's largest ethnic minority, but the most forgotten and the most denigrated. I think if you did that after a generation, you would, you may one day get to a situation where it is as equally unacceptable to bully a gypsy child because of who they are as it is a black child because of who they are.
And everybody needs to realise that's the real problem, because people don't know nothing about travellers and don't know nothing about all the other cultures and backgrounds and that. They don't know nothing about it, so that's why there's so much bullying and racism and that going on, because nobody don't know that. They need to wake up and start realising that the little sayings and whatever they say does hurt people inside.
Travellers and gypsies have been in this country for over 500 years, and they have a distinct culture, and remarkably they've managed to hold on to it.
In Leeds, the Open Roads, Open Minds project has found that an effective way of addressing racism in schools is by bringing traveller culture into the classroom. They've gathered together traveller storytellers and performers to raise awareness of a new resource for schools.
This is a traveller storytelling performance, and we've got two of the best storytellers that have come down from Scotland to entertain us all here as part of the Open Roads, Open Minds traveller storytelling project, which we were really fortunate to get here in Leeds.
Now I'm going to tell you this wee story. My grandfather, old Jock Stewart, was a piper in Scotland, and he won the championship of the best piper in Scotland. Now that was a great achievement for a traveller. I'm a ballad singer, storyteller. I talk a lot about the travelling culture, how the travelling people lives in Perthshire, where I come from. I'm talking about my family, and I do a lot of talking on the cant language. So the whole culture of the travelling people of Scotland, I lecture on it.
A lot of them came out of the trenches soaked. The traditional stories, the mythological stories were dying away. You know, they were slipping away, they were going into the graves. And I thought, I'll grab them and add to my own stories that I have learned from the old people. These traditional stories are all scattered through my books. And I think that to do this, and also that the educational system has accepted that there is a need to learn about the travelling people, about the gypsies.
Jess and Sheila are two of a number of storytellers to contribute to the Open Roads, Open Minds DVD learning resource, which is being sent to schools nationally.
It's so important because what it does, it really values and contributes to the curriculum for all children.
So when you go home, you can get some of your pals. You can all sit round in the carpet or outside, and you can say, right, come on, play chain storytelling. And I'll tell you, I have had a lot of fun chain storytelling, because you add silly bits to it and silly bits to it, and it brings everybody in, and everybody is content because they have told a story. Just like this.
We're raising the esteem of the Gypsy Roman traveller pupils who are in the school. We're raising the awareness and knowledge of people who don't know very much about them. And we're exciting children by the magic of storytelling. So it really is working on so many different levels.
So they walked on and they walked on till they came to the very end of the forest. And then what happened?
Then he saw a spider, and he asked the spider, did he want to come and join us?
And then they went through the woods a bit more, and they met a squirrel. And the bear were going to eat the squirrel, and he said, no, don't, because he's going to join us in the walk.
This DVD opens up a lot of these doors, and it opens up a lot of questions in the travelling gypsies' parents' heads to say, you know, are we doing the right thing? Is it time to change? Let's share our culture.
I think the DVD project is a wonderful thing because long ago, the travellers and the non-travellers, teachers and education authorities and that, couldn't have cared less whether travellers got educated or not.
I parked their van in an old abandoned car park at an old shut-down pub.
Pupils, teachers, storytellers and travellers are gathering together to celebrate the launch of the Open Roads, Open Minds DVD learning resource for schools.
We're here today, really it's the culmination of a year's work, and we're here with schools and parents and families, and also the traveller communities, the Irish travellers, gypsies and Roma, who have come today to celebrate the work that's gone into this project.
I'm not going to say too much about the project. I'm going to let it really speak for itself because we've got a DVD and we've got lots of good speakers. I think our culture's not been reflected very well in the media, TV, radio, even in books. So I think this really is such a good resource because it shows people today, contemporary gypsies and travellers who are still keeping that culture alive. We never stopped telling stories. I think a lot of people thought that stories had gone out of fashion, and I think what's happened is we're showing now that they haven't gone out of fashion. They're very much there, and they're very much wanted, and they're really, really useful. And I think it also shows with the young travellers who were on that DVD that they're interested in it. They want to learn more stories so that they can pass them on.
I enjoy telling stories and receiving stories to learn them, and showing children that there's more to life than television, you know.
And especially the young children and the public, because they don't really know what the traveller or gypsy community is like.
Let me show you this picture. Now, when this picture was taken 44 years ago, I was 4 months old.
Much of the traveller education work in the future aims to build on the positive steps made by resources that embrace traveller culture and tackle racial prejudice.
In that bit, all the way around to that bit.
These projects that you see are just the tip of a very large iceberg, but they work in a really difficult environment. They sometimes, you mention the word traveller and then immediately the vast majority of people think of the negatives. So what the projects can do is they can allay a lot of fears about gypsy traveller children.
I need some clothes pegs, he said, but I need them the most beautiful ones.
More importantly, the sort of work that I'm doing and that other gypsies and travellers are doing can actually show the gypsy traveller community that you can go into school. Education is a good thing.
Ooh, ow. That's not funny. That's not funny. Ooh, right, now.
The youth of today want to know more about the background of their neighbours.
I mean, it's not the schools that need it, it's not the teachers that need it. The first and foremost thing that should be in every educated person's mind is the children.
They need to make the people realise that everybody's different